Starting over sucks. If you are in the place or have been in the place of starting over and not knowing how to do it, stick around. I'm going to show you how I started over financially after I lost everything. What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, King Prime. I can be found at IamKingPrime.com. Thanks for coming back for another episode. Today, I'm getting personal and transparent with you about starting over after divorce. I will spare you the dramatic cliffhangers and emotional journey. Believe me, there was plenty. So what exactly happened? You never see any of this coming. In short, I was served papers. She wanted a divorce. She wanted it all. She got it all. Properties, cars, cash, kids. And it all happened very, very fast. And here I am in the situation. Oh, crap. What do I do? So I went through this process called mandatory discovery. That's where you have to expose all of your finances to the lawyer or to the courts to show what you have. And then they make a decision on how it should be distributed. I had to pay my legal fees. I had to pay her legal fees. And honestly, I think I was just with an unreasonable person on the other end of the business transaction. I offered 50-50. Hey, you take half, I take half. And we're good, right? No, that was not good enough. After child support, alimony, and dividing of the assets, there were very few, and I would say minimal financial assets to even do anything with. And at that time, I realized it was gonna suck. It was really gonna suck for a long time in multiple ways, but especially financially. So here's what I did. I assessed my financial situation. How much do I have left after all of these behemoth and gigantic bills? I created a new budget based on the new expenses that I was paying. And this is where it's good to have friends in your life. I moved in with a friend, rented a bedroom. He charged me a certain amount per month. I had access to the kitchen, the laundry room, and I had a nice clean bed to stay in. But that was after I spent 88 days on an air mattress in my office. And that is why it is so crucial and so important for you to leverage your network of friends and people. These are what I like to call your 1 a.m. friends. So yeah, that's right. A 40-something-year-old man renting a gosh darn room in somebody's house who's used to walking around in places with all this square footage. But do not get me wrong, I was incredibly grateful for it and grateful for it till this day. So I stayed there for a few months. I built an emergency fund. I kind of got hold of how my finances and my budget was working, and I looked at what I could afford. So I'm a creative, right? I took on extra work. I did extra consultations. I did extra photography. Any gig that could bring on more financial resources, I was pretty much down for it. So my next step to victory was calling my realtor, who happens to also be a very dear friend of mine. If you've ever bought a home before, you go through this process called pre-qualification. I sent my information over to his banker. They pre-qualified me, told me how much I qualified for. We started looking at homes within my budget, and eventually I purchased a townhouse. And I was so happy and so proud of that townhome. I mean, I was super proud of that place. I slept for months on an air mattress. And then I slept for months in a bedroom in a friend's house. And now I finally had a place of my own. Once I bought my townhouse, here's what my inventory looked like. Contained in that home was an air mattress, 1 pot, 1 pan, 2 bowls, 2 cups, 2 forks, 2 spoons, 2 knives, salt, pepper, and olive oil. Those were my basic household ingredients. Over the next 4 to 7 months, I finally started to furnish the place. I waited until anything that I wanted went on sale. And I happen to be a very particular person, so I look for certain things that I really, really like that no one had input on except for me. And I bought those things. If you're still here and you're listening to this, give me one thing that you've had to start over with and you did not expect it. I'd love to hear it. Next, I moved out of the townhouse and I purchased a larger home. So I call up my realtor, who's again a very dear friend, and it's time to shop for homes again. At this point, child custody changed. I became a full-time single dad. I needed more space. And by this time, I built up a decent nest egg. And my home valuated at a bit more than I paid for it. Also, by this time, I had small investment that had prospered a bit. So overall, my assets began to increase. And I was well positioned to leverage myself financially. So this larger home, I also bought it at a great time. It was right in the beginning of the pandemic. And as you all know, those houses really started to take off and gain additional value. So a low interest rate, and it was perfect timing to say the least. So now it's time to play Monopoly. I'm at the point now to where I want to start adding more homes to my portfolio, and I want to add more homes before the interest rate hikes up. So interest rates are still low. I'm monitoring the market. My realtor is very knowledgeable and has a network of people that keep him informed. He calls me up and say, hey, the market's about to go up. This is the rate that we're at today. I can take you to look at homes whenever you're ready, no pressure, but I know you wanted me to keep you informed. So we go look for homes. I find one. I purchased the home, but I did not know what direction I wanted to go with it. Either long-term rental or turn it into an Airbnb. Ultimately, I went the Airbnb route, and I did it with my fiance. Later that year, my fiance and I bought a house in a different state, and we turned it into an Airbnb. So now we're collecting properties, we're running a business through Airbnb. And 30 days after that, we rent a place and turn it into an Airbnb. That is called Airbnb arbitrage. When we need to stay there, we stay there. If we're not staying there, we rent it out. Next, we looked at buying a triplex. Ultimately, that deal did not work out, but it still ended up being a great partnership. We leveraged our experience and our superhost status to become co-host with the property owner, taking proceeds of the income coming in and getting those co-host management fees. So there's multiple homes under the portfolio. Equity is growing in those homes. You're getting profit, but you also have expenses, but you're making profits from the proceeds and the business side of Airbnb. And there's also the growth of investments over time. Here's some other factors and contributors to being able to come back from zero. I would say, first of all, it's the mindset. I could have easily taken the route of being a victim. That helps no one. It keeps you in a rut, and you always have something to complain about. I'm of the mindset that if you ever lose anything, as long as you had the intelligence, the discipline, the work ethic to get it one time, you can do it again. You can do it better the next time. You can do it even better time after time after time. Now, you don't want to continue to lose yourself or lose things, but just know and reassure yourself that if you did it once, you can do it again, and you can do it even better. Also, I no longer had the financial infidelity taking place. What is financial infidelity? That is when a person that you're in a relationship with that spends money and financial resources without you knowing. They are cheating on you with what's supposed to be your money as a couple or as a family. So since that was no longer happening, I was able to save and invest wonderfully. The ability to not have a person consistently pulling from my income meant that I could save and invest at a much higher rate than before. Another contributor was the like-mindedness of my new partner. That helped tremendously. And during this entire process, I cannot tell you how hard I worked on myself, how hard I educated myself, and how much financial growth I discovered in this process. And that is by way of learning different methods of investing, whether it's strategies, seasonal trends, market trends. All of it contributes to market growth, financial growth, and your financial success. So as we begin to close on this, I want to remind you that you're not alone. When it's time for you to start over, you need to lean on people. I surely leaned on people when I had to start over. And I want you to know that you have a place to lean on right here in this community. you can really drive your future after starting over. It may just be what the doctor ordered to give you that discipline, that tenacity, and that fire that you've been looking for. Share this video, give it a like, and pass it along to someone that you know needs this. If you're looking at the video version of this and you're on YouTube, please give this a like. This is how we get the algorithm to share this with people so that people can find us and make sure that they can be benefactors to put themselves in a better place. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, wherever you may be, give it a rating, give it a 5-star so that it can be promoted and make it into the ears of the right people. And before I go, let me leave you with a quote. Don't be afraid to start over. It's a brand new opportunity to rebuild what you truly want. Be sure to follow me at YouTube at King Prime. That is the @ King Prime. Follow me on Instagram at iam.kingprime. I will see you in the next video. Until then, look your best, do your best, and be your best.